The model of service delivery from a speech and language perspective for a child entering into school might take a variety of different forms. So for example, a child might receive small group or individual therapy if that's what's required. But mostly, every child that has communicative disorders will receive some sort of consultation with the classroom teacher. In that dynamic, the teacher and the speech pathologist will problem solve about what are the best approaches for this child in helping them access the curriculum.
The classroom teacher is delivering the program to the students on the front line. So our role as speech language pathologists is to assist them to do that for those students who need support with their communication needs.
Dominic's teacher, Miss Boucher, awesome teacher. Very good, good with all the kids. She's very good with his needs. She knows that he has a little bit of, problems with his speech, saying things, and she is just amazing with him, helps him out a little, helps him a little bit extra.
If a teacher becomes aware that a child is having some difficulty and suspects that there may be a communication difficulty, hopefully the first step is always communication with the parents. Typically the teacher will bring up these concerns either immediately or through a parent interview.
It's usually the parent who has a nagging feeling that there might be something not right. At home, the child may be displaying things like not being able to do his homework very well, getting really frustrated in the evening, and sometimes just way too tired to even complete anything.
And it's interesting, you often find the teacher and the parent see different things in this child. The teacher may describe some difficulties and the parent may say, really, because at home they do fine with that. Or vice versa, the parent may have concerns and the teacher isn't seeing it. And neither is wrong. There are different demands, it's a different environment. So the parent and the teacher come together, I think, to fill out the picture. Sometimes children with language impairments can still be very chatty and very communicative, but it may be more the receptive piece of it, the understanding, the comprehension, and then some academic problems start to pop up when they get a little bit older.
Encouraging families to be active participants at the school level as well, to meet with teachers in advance, but also to have regular meetings, and to be an active participant in their child's education from the very beginning.
Once we see the child in action, it's much easier to develop a working knowledge of how the child performs, what his strengths and needs might be in the classroom, and what are our next steps.
With Naomi, you can say that she kind of slipped through the cracks till about last year when she was in grade 5. We didn't realize the extent of what her issues were. It wasn't until we put a request in for an up-to-date speech and language assessment to be done by the school board did it come to light how extensive her needs were.
Once that assessment is done, obviously the parent is informed of what the findings are. There's a report that would be generated so that the school has a record of the findings, the parent has a record of the findings, and then from there it's what do we do?
Through the assessment, it was revealed that she had severe expressive and receptive language needs.
Most school boards operate with school teams. There may be different names for them, but the team that would involve the special services staff. So speech language pathologists, psychologists, social worker, itinerant teachers. Not that all of those staff would necessarily be involved with each child, but those people make up the team, along with the principal and resource or special education staff at a school, and then the teacher for that child. So together as a team, they would meet about that student.
So he still needed help with his speech and language, so I continued to advocate for him with the principal and the LST and the teacher, and like I said before, anyone who had listened, that he really needs to be seen by the speech path.
We know that kids that have language-based learning difficulties will have difficulties in almost every aspect of learning sometimes in a classroom situation. So it's really important that you rally as many resources and supports as you possibly can.
Bring in the team and the experts, and just really advocate and keep asking the questions. And if you're not sure about something, then get it clarified. And to just, you are your child's advocate. No one else is going to stand up for your child like you will.
The next tier of intervention may involve some specialized classes for certain students. Different boards have different classes and resources that they have, but I know in our board we have the kindergarten language program, for example, for senior kindergarten students who have been identified with communication impairments. There's also what are called intensive support programs, which are classes for students with pretty significant language impairments at the primary and junior levels.
The Kindergarten Language Program, or what we refer to as the KLP, is an early intervention program for senior kindergarten students with language, speech, and related early literacy needs. The main purpose of the KLP is to enhance the students' listening and spoken language skills in order to help them to succeed in learning to communicate, to read, to write, and to get along socially with others. The KLP is co-instructed by a teacher and a speech language pathologist. Consultation and support are also provided to parents and to homeschool teachers.
So when we talk to parents, we strongly encourage them to follow their child's lead. That means noticing what their child is interested in and building on it. So we often talk to our parents about visiting the library or the bookstore and encouraging their child to pick a book from any section that they're interested in, take it home, and spend some time looking at the book together, noticing what the child is interested in, talking about the pictures that they're most interested in, maybe spending some more time on the pages that they're really interested in, and not trying to read the book word for word.
As a parent, we encourage you to advocate for your child, find out what services are available, ask us how to access them, tell us what you feel your child needs, what you as a parent needs in terms of support from us.
The things that I wish we had had was someone to explain to us the difference between school, health, speech, and CCAC, and how I was supposed to navigate that.
So in Ontario, speech language services for school-age children are not all provided by the school board. Many years ago, the province divided speech and language under different ministries. So that distinction is that if a child has a speech difficulty, that refers to production of sound. So articulation, stuttering, or voice concerns fall under that speech designation. And if a student has moderate to severe speech needs, they would be referred to the Community Care Access Centre, which is funded under the Ministry of Health. We would initiate a referral with the parent's consent, obviously, and that is sent to the CCAC, and they would go through a case manager and be put on the CCAC's waiting list.
It sounds easy to get your kid assessed and assuming there's going to be help coming, but that wasn't the case, and I was really shocked because I had had such positive experiences with speech and language pathologists and with getting help before. But we did get the assessment done through the school board and had a really terrific time. They clearly understood she had a problem. She clearly understood that it was affecting her self-esteem and her confidence. And really said, we're glad you caught this. Time is really important and we're going to get help. And then nothing happened for a long time.
The parents would get a call from a case manager at CCAC to confirm the information and so on, ensure that they still want the referral put through. And then the student would go on a waiting list. And the length of that wait time varies wildly across the province.
Ultimately, we did get a really terrific speech language path through CCAC,